Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, good morning, beautiful people. Kings and queens, fairies and goblins, magical beings. Welcome to Morning Motivation with Big Papa, and it is fabulous Friday, 5:18 Central Standard Time. Big Papa's feeling good this morning. What up, Stefan? Good afternoon. In the Netherlands. Big Papa's feeling good this morning. Gonna get in, I took off Monday because it was a holiday, so I didn't work out Monday, but got in heavy, went heavy all week, so gonna get in a final heavy day today. Been thinking about flow. There is a Russian researcher, I think he's Russian. His name is Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, and his last name is not spelled that way, but you can look him up on YouTube. He did a couple TED Talks and got some fantastic research. And he wrote a book called Flow, Flow. And he studies the states of optimal performance. Hey, Stefan finished his transcript. That's awesome, bro. Stefan's been doing the Dutch translation of From Fear to Love. Hey, good morning, Philip. Good morning. It's 11:15 in the UK. Good afternoon to you. Is it rainy over there, Philip? It's rainy over here. So Csikszentmihalyi he wrote a book called Flow, and it's the psychology of optimal performance, and he talks about a peak performance. And it's that state where time disappears. You guys have all experienced that at some point in time, you know, when you're working or you're doing something creative and all time disappears and you look up and it's been like 2 hours and it feels like you've been working for like 20 minutes. Well, that's the flow state. And what's really cool about the flow state is that it really speaks, it's sunny but cold. It really speaks to the synchronicity of our hemispheres. So when the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere get in sync, so your emotions and your thinking are lined up, are aligned, that's when you're most likely to move into flow. And I've been doing a lot of thinking recently with my parents, with my parents and my therapists that are in the Parenting Matrix program. We're on day 22. And so yesterday, as we're moving into the third stage, we're moving into the third dimension. The first dimension, which is the first 10 days, is working on ourselves as parents. The second dimension is understanding our children. And the third dimension is the family dimension, family dynamic dimension. But it's also where we move into a stage I call proactivity, where we move into creation. So you guys will oftentimes hear me talk a lot about the difference between reactivity and responsibility, especially when it comes to fear and love. Because fear is very unconscious and it's based in reactivity. Love is very conscious and it's based in responsibility. Well, I must have been a big wreck because there are cops and firefighters and everything else. You know, in states and areas where you don't get a lot of inclement weather like rain, it's a little rainy this morning. It's 40, so that's a blessing. But where you don't get a lot of rain, when you get rain or snow, and people just drive like some fools. Oh my gosh, they drive so crazy. So love is a state connected to responsibility and consciousness. And really that's human love, I should say. There's another stage that's deeper than responsibility. And that's called proactivity. You move from reactivity to responsibility. I call it the path of responsibility into proactivity. And when you move into the stage of proactivity, that's when you move into the stage connected to flow. That's when you move into the stage that I call magic. And you become a magician, because that's where you move into universal love. And the experience of it, the energy of it, the vibration of it. Because love is all that exists, and love is magic. And when you move into that stage, you become a magician, because you create your environment. You create your emotional environment, you create your physical environment. And that's where ultimately I believe we all are striving to get to. We're striving to get to that stage of proactivity, that dimension of proactivity where we're creating our realities. Because it's so easy to just live reactively, because that's the conditioned stage of life. I mean, that's what the majority of people do. We live reactively. Things show up, we react. We get fat, we react. We get stressed, we eat. You get fat, you work out. You go on a diet. You get hungry, you eat. You get stressed, you do whatever you do to relieve the stress. Your child acts up, you yell. It's all reactive. And then you move to responsibility, which is where you say, I have a choice in what my response is in this moment. See, reactivity, you don't have a choice. Your brain, your amygdala is just taking over. Yeah, Philip calls it the ripple effect. Absolutely. Your brain, your emotions, they just take over. That's just a conditioned. Stefan also refers to that as being on autopilot. In responsibility, you have a choice. And that's the space. And that's where a lot of people, myself included, talk a lot about responsibility. But then the next dimension is proactivity. So there's reactivity, the path of responsibility, which then leads you to proactivity. When you move into proactivity, that's when you move into creativity. That's when you move into being a magician. That's when you move into creating what shows up in your life. And that's the stage we're working on now in the parenting matrix, is helping parents realize that they have the ability to be proactive. We as individuals all have the ability to be creators in our life. It's more than just being responsible. Responsibility is the stage to proactivity. We have the ability to be proactive and create and be magicians. And I think that's a beautiful thing. You are not merely are you not held hostage, but you are a magician. You have the ability to be a magician. You have the ability to create what shows up. And that's beautiful. And that goes back to our goals. When you are setting your goals, you are working towards being a magician. The only thing that keeps your goals, this is what I feel like is so beautiful about Jesus, is that Jesus was such a magician, because he was such pure love that he could move a mountain and he could heal the blind. It's all because of just being pure love. It's such a beautiful thing. And it's like, that's what separates us from Jesus, is that we set goals. Like, we could set goals to cure blindness, and we spend 40 years, like a scientist could spend 40 years of their life passionately committed to figuring out how to cure blindness, and eventually get to the point to where they come pretty freaking close. And the reality is, it's all within our reach all the time. It's all within within our ability to have faith and to be in love and to be magicians. And it didn't even have to take 40 years. If our faith was great enough and our belief, our knowing was great enough. I feel like it's such a cool thing. And Jesus just lived that, just knew it, just walked around like badass. Jesus was just badass, walking around touching people. Say, get with God. Boom! I can see. Jesus be like, get some God in your life. Bam! People be like, I can walk. I think it's just so powerful. So powerful. So, we're all magicians. You all have the ability to be proactive in your life. You all have the ability to be a creator. So go create, be proactive, create your reality, create your emotional reality, create your physical reality. And you've probably come check us out over in the Levolution, because we're doing some badass stuff over there. All right, have an awesome day. Big Papa loves you. Have a fantastic Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. And you can catch me in the evenings, Post Daily Dose, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Otherwise, I'll see you back here Monday morning, living large and in charge, baby.